Thanks for coming back to the Memoryverse. I hope you've been learning it, and I hope maybe you could put it on the Padlet for us. I know that Timmy has sent your mum and dads an email about how to do that, so get them to show you because we really want to see you saying it. I hope you can remember it. It's not, I just think it's too easy for you guys actually, but so prove it to me that you can say it. I want to see it. Okay, do you remember what it was? Let's go over it one more time this week. So Psalm 139 verse 14, and it says, I praise you because of the wonderful way you created me, and everything you do is marvellous. Of this I have no doubt. Now you'll be able to see he's here already this week. But I've got him here to ask him some questions because I've been thinking about this verse this week and thinking, I've got some questions about this verse, and do you know, when I have a question, then it's always a good thing to do about it is just to chat about it with someone. And so I've decided that this week, instead of us being a bit silly, because you know he's a bit silly sometimes, that we'd have a wee think and a chat about it this week and maybe look at things a wee bit more serious. Because it says in the verse, I praise you because of the wonderful way you created me. And you know, there's sometimes that I don't actually think that I'm that wonderful. There's days, you know, there's I don't particularly like my nose. Don't know what you think about your own nose. There's things about me that aren't wonderful.
Well, I think you're wonderful.
Get him, eh? I'll get him brownie points.
I just want dinner tonight.
No hope.
Well, when God made us,
Yeah.
He made us wonderfully in two ways and loads of other ways, but here's at least two. First of all, He made you wonderful because you're one of a kind. There's no one else like you. And for the boys and girls watching this, you might not have such a great nose as Glenda has, but God made you amazing. He made you completely different from anyone else, so you don't need to worry about not being as strong or as fast, and some of these things you can learn and you can grow in, but God made you completely as an individual, and He loves you personally. So He made you and He sets His love on you. And then the other amazing thing about it is this: God made you in a way completely different from the way He made trees or mountains or the world or other animals. God made you in such a way that you can actually have a one-to-one relationship with Him through Jesus. And that's the most amazing thing. He made us so that the most amazing, the most wonderful thing about us is that if we'll love Him and come to know Him, we can be His friend forever and ever.
Great. Okay. So we're wonderful because God created us for a relationship with Him. Right?
And you're one of a kind.
Even with my nose. One of a kind.
No one's got a nose like that.
No. It also says in the verse, everything you do is marvellous. Of this I have no doubt. Okay, here's another question for you, Stuart. Because COVID-19 that we're all in the middle of, I'm not thinking that's so marvellous. Huh? So everything marvellous?
Well, everything God does is marvellous.
Ah, yeah.
So there's lots of things that happen in the world, and they happen for a couple of reasons. One thing is that lots of bad stuff happens because the way it talks about it, the way lots of older people talk, is that the world is fallen. It's not what God made it to be. So God makes this perfect world. People then brought sin into the world, and that means the whole world is different from what it should be. The other reason is because in that world, there's people. And people have got a tendency to do pretty bad things.
Yeah. So
it would be really wrong of me to say, God, why did you make me get robbed? It'd be better to look at the person who's robbed me and say, why did they do that terrible thing of robbing me? So sometimes stuff happens because we're in a fallen world. Diseases come. Natural bad disasters come, earthquakes and things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes bad things happen because people can do some pretty bad things, as we've all found out. But the great thing is that what this verse tells us is everything God does is wonderful. Is that right? Is that how the verse says it?
Yeah.
And of this,
Marvellous, actually. Everything
Marvellous.
you do is marvellous. Yeah, keep them right.
remember, like the comics, Marvel,
Ah,
us. So the great thing is, one of the most marvellous things that God does is he promises, and this is incredibly hard to get our heads around. I guarantee if you ask the big old ancient people like
Timmy.
Oh, great minds. If you ask people like that, everyone struggles to see this, but the Bible promises if we love and follow Jesus, that God will actually take even the bad things that happen, even the horrible things that happen in our lives, even things like coronavirus or someone being nasty to us or bullying us, all of these horrible things, and God will work in our lives so that one day, maybe when we're like Timmy's age, maybe even older, we'll be able to look back and see, wow, God has actually taken the bad thing and he's done something amazing in my life because of it. Now that is how much he loves us, and that's just how big and clever and smart and huge God is.
Yeah, because God's very different from us. We're so limited and small, and yet God is huge and has control over absolutely everything. So, will we get him to say it? Right. Do you think you can remember it?
I think I can only remember it if you give me the tune for the song.
Oh, there's
How does
no
it
hope
start?
of that. That was a bit of a disaster. Sorry about that.
Oh!
He's got it. First word.
I praise you because of the wonderful way you created me.
He's singing.
Of this I have no doubt.
Missed a bit.
Oh, and I praise you because of the wonderful way you created me. Everything you do is marvellous, and of this I have no doubt. Psalm 139 verse 14.
Woohoo!
Yes! Did I get a prize?
No, but actually, you might get a prize. If you put it on the Padlet, you might get something.
If I put it in the Padlet, will I get something?
No. Well, I'll ask Timmy.